Happening right now, peace has returned to the troubled town of Ferguson, Missouri, and tonight another large group has gathered, but this time it was to pray for the two officers who were shot.
And that God loves us so much that God is willing to stand in front of tanks and tear gas.
Will help us to be the adult in their lives, to show them what real love is.
About 50 people were at tonight's vigil where they prayed for the officers and peace and change in the wake of the withering Justice Department report on a racial bias in its law enforcement practices. They were at a public plaza near the police station where those officers were shot. Both of the officers were released from the hospital today. Neither man is expected to suffer any long-term damage, though one officer was shot in the face. Police spent the day scouring homes in the Ferguson area looking for the possible suspects. So far, no arrests have been made. Of course, the fallout from Ferguson has impacted people nationwide. Eugene is no exception. Tonight, the Eugene Police Department took up the issue of recording police activities, even crafting its own policy. KEZI 9 News reporter Sarah Hurwitz was at that meeting. She is now live in Eugene with the details. Sarah.
Well, it's your right to record police activities, and Eugene Police want to make that clear with a newly drafted policy. Now, tonight's discussion centered around how cameras can be a lens into what happens, but not serve as a distraction for police. The night started in fitting fashion to the discussion the Eugene Police Commission was poised to have. Several cameras recording their conversation, a First Amendment right.
When someone comes into a police action close enough for this policy to kick in, the officer is responsible for that person's safety now as well.
A policy solidifying a citizen's right to record police activity, but with certain restrictions.
You can't trespass on somebody else's property. You can't commit a crime. You can't incite others to not cooperate with the police while trying to capture video.
Sergeant Matt Lowen, who drafted the policy, says it outlines a citizen's right to record police activities, but an officer can ask someone to record from a reasonable distance from the scene so that person doesn't interfere with police activity, a gray area for the community.
Most jurisdictions have a limit on the distance, and the limit is the physical interference of a police officer. There's not 100 feet, there's not 50 feet, there's not 25 feet.
But that's something the commission agreed is based on an officer's comfort.
There's not an interest in creating a measurable distance that every officer can say you must stand 10 feet away, 15 feet away, 20 feet away.
A draft affirming the rights of citizens, but still allowing officers to do their jobs with a lens serving as a witness. And the commission did make some wording changes to the policy this evening. Now, Sergeant Lowen says that the next step is it'll go to the chief as well as his senior staff for approval before it goes on to the district attorney and the city for final review. Live in Eugene, Sarah Hurwitz, KEZI 9 News.